And joining me now at 9:32 are our master gardener friend, Barb Lamson, and she's brought a special guest in today. And we always love to have guests in studio. Good morning, Barb.
Well, good morning. It's great to be here, and welcome to Terry Anderson.
Good morning.
Yes, let's hear a little bit about our guest. Terry Anderson is a person who is from Valley Veggies.
Isn't that a great name?
It is, and I'm not real familiar with it, so this is great to know a little bit more about you and what you do, and I know we're going to talk about veggies today.
Yes.
We are. And so, Terry, so we let people know, let's just describe where your shop is, where your greenhouses are, and so they can come out and see you.
Well, I'm 5.5 miles out on Highway 68. That's State Highway 68. So if you were to find Minneopa Park,
Right.
that's where Highway 68 is, and we're just a few miles out past Minneopa Park on the left-hand side or the south side of the road.
And if you get to Judson, you went too far.
Yep. We are 2 miles east of Judson.
Right. Well, I've visited at your nursery several times over the years, and I've always been so impressed by being able to walk around out there. You can see the vegetables and things growing. It's just a real beautiful sight. And actually, if you get in your car and go on 68, you can't miss it. It's the only nursery there. You'll see the hoop houses out there and things. You're growing things right now. Things are ready to go out the door, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. The plants are big and beautiful and ready to go in the ground right now.
Well, Terry, I have a question. So do you do this all for your own business, or do you actually ship to other nurseries, or is this your your own business? You know, some businesses grow plants and sell them to others who resell them.
Yep. Well, as far as for my own business, that is how I got started in doing plants, is that we
Producing
wanted
for others?
Well, no.
No.
We strive for a balance for our own business, so we wanted strong plants to put in the ground.
Okay.
And we never started out intentionally wanting to sell plants, but our neighbors started driving by and seeing how beautiful my plants are doing when theirs weren't doing so hot. So they started stopping in and asking for plants.
So it started out as kind of a neighborhood swap almost.
Yeah, it started with one very small greenhouse, and now we have 3. And a building that we sell from. So there's actually 4 buildings sitting there. So yeah, it's expanded and blew up. And just for ourselves, so that we can get in 10 acres, we started enough plants for that. And now we do start enough plants to sell for other people. And yes, and anybody's
this is
welcome.
So great. Let's just talk about, so with 10 acres, 4 greenhouses, you're selling plants to people. Later on, you'll be selling vegetables when they're ready. You sell herbs, you sell flowers. So let's talk about your workforce. This is so unique.
I don't have any employees. I operate with family and volunteers only. Which is just kind of a really fun way to do it. I have one family who is actually generational.
Right, and how many generations is that?
That's 3.
Three
That's 3
generations.
The grandmother comes out and she helps. She has helped plant. She's worked in the greenhouse. The mother. So it's a grandmother, a mother, and grandchildren, I guess, would be a good way of describing it. So there's teenagers. There's 3 of them that come out and help, and then the mother.
Wow! And so, could we just recognize them, because that is really
yes,
that's such a nice thing.
The main contact person to start with was Shannon Ballman.
Okay,
and she is a local businesswoman and very enthusiastic. Her boyfriend and one of her children have celiac disease.
All right.
So they're very interested.
Diet.
Yes, they're very interested in the vegetables. The greens are really good for people that have celiac disease, and then okra is extremely good for anybody that has any bowel problems.
Now, okra, I always think of a southern plant for some reason. You always hear about it in gumbo.
It does really well here.
Well, I know I've grown it before. I just never knew what to do with it, so I never did anything. I just grew it.
Well, most people think I'm crazy, but I eat it raw.
Oh, really?
All day long when I have it available. But yeah, just some simple ways of just frying it in a little oil with some Cajun seasoning is really good.
And when you make jambalaya or anything like that. They put it in, and it kind of thickens it. And
Yeah.
I'm not so fond of it that way. But you can buy it in a jar, pickled like a pickle, and I put enough vinegar on it, and I think that's really great. Well, talking about celiac disease, another reason that I'm drawn to your gardens are because they are chemical free. That's so important.
Yes, I agree. And actually, the ground's been untouched by chemicals for almost 30 years now.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
amazing. And because, there are certain things that as gardeners we have problems with. And of course, it's easy just to buy a powder or something and throw it on and hopefully get rid of it. But then, of course, like Barb says, there's all these other side issues you might have related to health or other things. And so you have an interesting way of doing it. You do what's called companion planting, because I asked you about
Yes.
flowers. And I tend to do that in my garden. I've got a little square foot garden. So, I plant certain things in each square foot, but then I try to plant something else that will, whether it's a marigold, that will repel other insects and things. Let's talk a little bit about your work and how you're trying to do some of that companion stuff and sell people plants that will naturally repel insects and things.
So the type of flowers that I sell are only companion flowers. They have to attract bees, they have to attract butterflies, or they have to deter some type of pests. And most of us know marigolds are supposed to deter rabbits and different bugs. So I do intersperse marigolds throughout. I will say, though, I have seen rabbits mow marigolds off.
Yeah, they do. They do
it's
that.
just one of those things. We try really hard to strike that balance so that we don't have too many of good and too many of bad bugs or pests out there. And another thing I do use besides the flowers are the herbs.
Oh, that is.
And herbs can be good deterrents as well for certain insects. Let's talk about some of those, because I know my son wanted to plant borage, and I'm like, I don't even know what borage was, number one. And he had read about it as a medicine or herb or something in one of his cat books. And so he just thought this was the coolest thing. So I planted borage, not knowing even what it is. But I understand that can be one of the herbs that is a good repellent as well.
Yeah, from what I understand, but I'll be honest, I have not used that
one. Oh, okay.
one.
You haven't done that
I
one.
haven't used that one myself.
What are some that you do use and recommend?
Basil. There are several types of basil. There's Thai basil, sweet basil, and lemon basil that I actually intersperse like in between green beans, especially, that help keep some of the bugs.
Really?
Yeah, some of the bugs away, and they keep some of the mosquitoes away. In fact, we will even take the basil and rub it on our skin when the mosquitoes are bad, and that repels the mosquitoes.
Oh, wow, because I had my first mosquito bites last night, and I just got some basil, so I'm going to try that one. Wow.
I love basil. I love the smell of it, and I love to make pesto with it, and I keep... I start my basil from seed and at different times, because I want enough basil to have it all season long, and then I want enough to freeze too, because that is such a great thing to have fresh basil that's frozen.
Oh, I agree with you, and that is one of the herbs that we do. And have in the pick your own patch out there too. So.
Right. Or you can come out and get small plants. I just want to talk about something else that I think is so important that you do. Working with these volunteers, that's so incredibly important. And now, besides the experience of connecting and helping produce their food, they also get other things in return, monetary things, like they can get vegetables or plants, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they exchange that.
Yes, they do. If they do gardens of their own, they are welcome to starter plants. And then we share, it is more set up like a sharing system.
Right.
So we divide however many people there are. Then say if we have peas, we don't actually sell peas to the public, but we plant them special for the people that volunteer, and then everybody gets a share of that.
Right.
Asparagus is another thing. We don't sell it to the public, but for the people that volunteer, they get that. Another thing that I currently started is that I've started laying hens.
Oh my goodness!
And now I am not selling eggs to the public, but the volunteers will have access
to the eggs.
Oh,
that's so important. I love this idea of 3 generations of people coming out and being that connected to the soil, and also raising their vegetables and bringing them home fresh and eating them, because I do know that's a problem. Take, for example, asparagus. If you buy asparagus in the store now, it really doesn't have the same flavor as the asparagus we're raising right now. It's so green and lush. It's like eating sunshine or something. It's so amazing. I just feel healthy. When I'm picking it in the garden, I am eating it raw, and then I love to put it on the grill. I love to grill it. I've said this before. If I have fresh asparagus, I would rather have grilled asparagus with a little olive oil than a steak. And I am a steak person. I mean, I love beef. I grew up on a farm. But I love my fresh vegetables, and they are so good.
I agree.
And I know something else really special that you do. When you have tours, you let children come. I know the YMCA brings kids out.
You've got tours too. Place to bring my 4-H kids, maybe.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm always excited to do tours. I just love the reactions of the children. Yes, the YMCA does bring out their children, and as I was telling Barb before, I've learned a few things over the years. They're so excited to be there, and I always like to explain to them about the DE or diatomaceous earth and how it helps keep a balance of the bugs. And the first year I did that, I put it in a bucket, and all the kids were gathered around, and then I told them that they could touch it, that it's perfectly safe. You can get it on you, no problem. And they dove in, and it just went poof in the air, and they all had like white faces and white hair, and so anyways, now we make them line up and do one at a time, stick their hand in and touch and see how it feels. And if you want to see how it looks, I do have pictures of my grandchildren helping me apply that out there on a very regular basis. And my grandchildren are ages 2, 4, and 6.
Now let's talk a little bit about what is diatomaceous. I probably said it wrong.
Diatomaceous earth.
Yes, and I always call it crushed shells and things.
Yeah.
Well, really,
DA.
Technically that's what it is. It's powdered fossilized shellfish, and it has little diatoms or crystals in it that are jagged. So if
they're like death strips for certain like slugs and things to go over top.
Well, that is true, but if the bug ingests it, it will grind up its guts and kill it.
Nice.
I know this sounds
having breakfast.
rather cruel. I know. Or if it scrapes them, then they dehydrate. So it's not an instantaneous thing. So we do apply it real regular to try and keep a balance out there. And along with that, we do apply what we call the search and squish method.
Oh, great.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. That's something Barb loves, because Barb does not like to use any chemicals, which I think is good, and you don't either. So search and squish sounds very technical.
I grew up with this method. Let me tell you, growing up in the Red River Valley, and where there was a lot of potatoes, and we didn't spray our potatoes, we used to have to go out and pick these beetles. Oh my goodness, we'd have a bucket or a tin can. We had to drop them.
It's not for the squeamish.
It is not. And
wear gloves.
And the eggs underneath the leaf, you had to squish them off. Oh, that was the absolute worst thing. So search and squish, I'm familiar with it, grew up with it. Yeah, so.
Oh, yes.
It still works.
Yes, and anybody that volunteers with me out there is trained as to what is a good bug and what is a bad bug, so that we aren't squishing the good ones.
Right?
Yes.
That is so important, too.
And then one of the things that we do, like if there's one plant or 2 plants or whatever that are especially infested with something, we will take and lay boards down and leave them there overnight, and then in the morning flip the boards over and then smash the bugs that are underneath. That's one way to get a large amount at a time.
Right. I've heard that's good with slugs, because I was talking earlier to you about I've got a lot of hostas and things, and they like to come out at night. So you put the boards down, they're attracted to that moisture, and then flip it over in the morning, and there you go, Slug City.
I agree. I agree.
I found too that if you have a balance of flora and fauna, so if you have birds, now, boy, the robins, excuse me, in my yard, the robins are so big, they're out there eating worms and things they're taking out, so that you don't have to worry about any kind of a chemical on your lawn. The little wrens are out, they're pecking away, and they're doing their thing. And and the bumblebees and the honeybees and all of those things are already active, and they're just really busy out there. So kind of bringing those things into. Now, I have never had, I suppose I'm going to have a problem from now on. I've never had a problem with slugs on my hostas, and I have quite a few of them. So I don't know why that is, but I have used over the years, we have a fireplace, and I save the ashes, and I do spread ashes
Oh,
under
that's
the
a good
hostas.
idea.
Yep,
Yeah.
and actually we do that too. We actually heat our greenhouses with wood stoves.
Great.
And we cut our own wood so that we know what kind of wood we're burning. You don't want to put something on that's toxic if you've
Right.
burnt something toxic on there. But we use ashes for a lot of different things. You know, you do need to be careful because it can change the pH of your soil.
Yep, that's right.
Because it is a little more acidic. That's why ashes are really good for blueberries or your asparagus, because they like
Right.
it a little more acidic.
But doesn't our soil run more on the base side than acidic
It
anyway?
is.
So it's
Yes, it does.
So it's unlike other places where it might be more severe. It's
Yeah.
not going to be as damaging, perhaps.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that. So we do use some, and that is one thing that we use as a rabbit deterrent.
Really, ashes?
Wow.
Yes.
I'm going to go
Yeah.
start lots of fires.
Yes.
tonight.
I
Actually,
am too, because
we have
we've
a-
got them 3 generations in my yard right now.
Oh no! Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, it is scary, and it's fenced, So
Yeah,
Oh,
mine
yes.
too.
Yes.
So how do you determine? Do you just sprinkle it around and they go away, or do you put it on the plant, around the plant?
We actually use
Throw it at them?
We get
when they come in the yard?
now that would be nice if it worked that way. You'll use it as rabbit be gone, but just throw it at them. But no, what we keep it in buckets, and then we use a sieve. We do
Yeah.
it the same way we do the DE. We just take a bucket,
Right.
take a sieve, and sprinkle it right on the plant.
Oh, on the plant, not
Because
just
they don't-
around it. You want it
No,
on it.
You want it on the plant
they don't like the
don't
taste.
like the taste.
Oh, I wouldn't like ashes either.
But there's 2 things that we use to deter rabbits
Okay.
and deer.
Okay, good. I got to write this down.
Right.
One is the ashes method,
Okay.
and the other is solar lights that move or change
Oh, yeah,
color.
you told me that.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
And we just stumbled across this several years ago. My mother gave me these pretty solar lights, and I stuck them in where I had some beets that the rabbits were just mowing down.
Okay.
And
Thinking
they-
you'd be able to see them perhaps at night when they jump around or something.
well, no, I just thought they were pretty.
Okay.
You know, that's all. I just thought
Since the
they were
beats are
pretty.
gone, I might as well have lights.
But what we noticed that when we put those there, they quit bothering them.
Now these are ones that turn on and off, because I've got solar lights that are like steady.
What you want are the colored ones that change,
change
colors.
color.
And when they
Whoa.
change color, it looks like they move.
Oh,
So, a lot of animals don't see in color, but they see the movement.
so they like somebody's chasing them.
They think, yeah. And I have implemented, this will be for the 5th season now, and that has kept the rabbits and the deer out of my garden.
No way.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Whoa! I'm gonna go out and I'm by stocking it now and then.
But I will tell you, if you ever drive by our place at night, it looks like an alien runway. We have over 100 lights out there.
Wow.
Yes, I'm serious.
I mean, are
over
they,
100.
does it matter if they're like closer to the ground or farther up from the ground?
We
because
just take
they
the sticks and stick
poke
them in,
them
there.
in and
Yeah.
wow.
The only thing, and I talked to Terry about this before, is
Do they get used to it like other things? Though?
well,
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but the only problem I have with that is I have so much activity in the daytime when the solar lights aren't on.
Oh, well.
But I'm going to get my ashes out there,
Yes.
and I'm going to put that around because that's free, and I don't even think I'm going to sieve them. I'm just going to just sprinkle around because
Why do you sieve them? By the way,
if there's debris, when you burn.
so you don't want big chunks? Is that
Right.
the
Well, you
reason,
don't
or
want big
just
chunks, but you understand we're doing acres.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's not
sure,
just-
I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you take a bucket and you do it fast because you'd never get through it all if
Yeah.
you
Oh.
didn't have a simple method of putting it on.
I gotcha.
yes.
Karen, there's something that Terry does that's so unique and so wonderful, and I just think our listeners have to hear about this. Can you talk a little bit about Harry Meyring's gardening group that comes out?
Yes. I have a young man that's been volunteering for at least 3 years out there already, and then he has started a garden group. And he brings them out once a year, and they get to pick out seeds. They get to pick out what they want for plants.
And this is all free.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No charge. I just get such a kick out of it. I have so much fun doing this. Never any charge for this. And then, like, if they say they want to take home a potted flower or something to their home,
Right.
Because they do have a small garden plot up at Good Counsel.
Yes.
That they do together. We help them put their plants in pots. I do have a line of peppers and tomatoes and different things that do really well in pots.
Okay.
So they can have something right there at their home. Or if they want to put seeds in the pot and watch it grow, we help them get that done. Anyways, that is actually one of the highlights of my year. I just get a kick out of doing that.
I love that. I love the fact that somebody thought of that and came to you and you're doing that, because that is so important. I've had that experience, and I don't know a group of people that are more appreciative than the residents that I've met at Harry Meyering and at some of the houses that they have. And I do know on the patios or decks, they also can have potted plants there.
Yes.
And nurturing and watching something grow, I tell you, that's so good for your mental health as well as your physical health.
Oh, I agree with you completely.
So, Terry, I got to ask you, you have this Valley Veggies. Do you make a living at this, or is this just more of a hobby? Because I'm just wondering, you're talking about sharing, having volunteers and giving away the product and things like that. And you also sell product too, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. I
So, but
sell
is
on-site only.
But is this your only, I mean, do you do other things too? Because it seems like, you're giving a lot away.
My husband is actually a truck driver.
Oh, so
he hauls freight for Estes.
I gotcha.
He is the Maid Brentwood winner.
I gotcha.
Yes,
so this
absolutely.
Is sort of a hobby that's taken on a life of its own.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it a hobby.
Well, not anymore.
Because you don't work 80 or 90 hours a week
right.
on a
No,
hobby.
I put in very, very long days and long hours.
Right.
And yes, it's a labor of love.
Yes.
But we actually got started 16 years ago.
Really? 16? I thought you said it was more recent that you kind of...
Oh, no.
Okay.
16 years ago, we started out very small.
Oh,
and,
okay.
and the main reason is we didn't want our 4 children to lay in front of the TV all summer while I worked in town.
Yes,
And to further explain that, I was working in town, and we have 4 children. Our 3rd child is a boy, who is really a great kid. Well, I shouldn't say kid. He's
An adult now, I
He's
suppose.
an adult. He's been married for quite a few years
Yes.
and has a little girl.
He's
In a mother's heart,
you're
they're
still
always
a
your
boy.
children.
Still
I'm
a
sorry,
boy.
they're always your children.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I came home from work one day and found him making hydrogen in his bathroom, which is not necessarily such a big deal.
Making hydrogen in your bathroom?
Right.
Oh,
it's
okay.
not. It's not really that big of a deal. Normally, you use like your little sink and a little battery and a little pop bottle, and then you take it outside and you blow it up.
Oh, okay. Making little bombs.
Right. This is right. Making little bombs. I mean, this is kind of what boys do. We've got 1 boy, 3 girls.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. And the girls were supposed to be keeping track of the 1 boy, but anyways,
Well, they were
that's the way it
busy.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were cooking and cleaning.
Right.
The important stuff, right? But he was making this in his bathtub
Oh, my.
when I got home with a car battery in there.
Oh, my goodness.
And a huge bottle with airplane fuel in there right beside it. And that's when I really decided I needed to find something to do
With
at
his
home.
time?
Right. So that, I didn't come home and just find a hole in the ground where there should be a house and children.
Oh, my goodness.
And
How old was he when he was doing this?
he was 10.
Oh, my goodness. What a
Yes.
smart little kid.
Oh, actually, yes, extremely. That's a whole nother story.
Okay,
though.
okay. That's another story for another.
Yes.
All right, so you did the gardening thing because you thought
Yeah,
maybe...
we started out real small. We started with a fairly small garden, and then my children would stand at the end of the driveway with a little trailer, waving at all the customers or
I can
potential
I can
customers
imagine
driving
that,
by.
yeah.
Trying to dance and flag them
Oh,
in
yeah.
to get them to come in and purchase something, and that's how we got started.
Wow.
And it has just kept rolling.
And now are
ever
the kids
since.
involved anymore, or have they moved away? You said they're older,
Well,
so...
I did the best of raising my children, and I will say they have all grown up to be wonderful human beings, wonderful adults. So I never regret doing that. But our oldest daughter and son-in-law moved back 2 years ago, and she has joined me in my business.
wow.
And her name is Amanda. So if you see my website or my Facebook page, she's the one that does all the cooking and the recipes, and just a
that's
very
great.
talented,
So-
a very talented gal.
Why don't you give us your website?
Yeah, so people can learn
yeah.
all
Oh,
the stuff
sure.
you do.
Yes, that is ValleyVeggiesMN.com.
All right. Easy to remember.
MN.com.
Yep.
And
If you don't put the MN in there, you'll get one in Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. And
Okay.
and you can also find, I assume, directions to your place if people wanted to go out.
Yeah, there's a map even on the website and on the Facebook page too. and there's all sorts of links.
How
to
many
get-
different varieties of veggies do you have out there that you sell? I mean, I'm assuming you have a lot. And do you have anything unique, or do you try to stay within the standard kind of what works?
We are unique.
Okay.
Sometimes it's easier to tell you what I don't grow than what I do.
Okay.
I don't do sweet corn.
Which that takes a lot of space, you know.
Well, it isn't even that. At one point I did do sweet corn, and that's actually what we started out doing was tomato, sweet corn, those really simple basics.
Sure.
But doing the sweet corn without chemicals,
It's hard.
well, it's difficult, and you get the worms in the ends.
And people won't buy it.
No.
And right,
No.
and women.
I will, though.
Well, I
I
shouldn't
won't.
say women. Women and men, none of them really appreciated that little worm
No.
in the end, and none of them really appreciated when I said, "Well, that's just a little extra protein."
Right. Just cut it off. Cut off that.
So I quit growing sweet corn before I really got myself in trouble.
Okay.
Is what it amounted to. But we do lots of unique things. We do a wide variety of cucumbers. We do okra. We do heirloom tomatoes, regular tomatoes, a variety of beans, a wide variety of peppers. I do a wide variety of different kinds of pumpkins, squash,
Herbs.
kohlrabi.
Wonderful herbs. And you know something that I just bought from Terry when I was out there is I got some sets for celery. And so I'm gonna.
yes.
I am very interested.
Not a lot of places sell that, right?
No, right, that's right. And what I don't. Celery is one of those things that gets heavily sprayed, and
Yes.
unless you're buying it organic, which about triples the price. And you can also peel celery, but this idea, I think I can do this. Even if I don't get really big stalks on it, I'll have the leaves in that for the flavoring. I'll get that flavoring of celery, which is so
Yes.
unique. So I love that. Now, I was thinking, Terry, why don't we share your phone number? Because people might want to know. I have more questions for you. And as the season gets going here, they might want to know what you've got on hand. So,
Okay.
Yeah, and you do have some you pick 'em things, don't you? Your flowers and herbs?
Yes, the flowers and herbs are pick your own.
Right. And
Yep.
so, I mean, what a wonderful experience.
You have people that you can come and pick your own herbs even?
Yes.
Cool.
Yep, and that's the main stuff that's just right out in front of our
Wow.
main sales
And do you
building.
sell it by the pound, or how does that work?
No, we have a very unique system out there. It's by the bunch or by the hand.
So if you got
grab
big
a
hands.
bunch, you cut it off.
a handful.
Yes, a handful.
So it depends on how big your hands are.
Listen,
Yes,
you know
yes.
what? Mrs. Dorr, who is my favorite lily grower over in New Ulm, I used to buy plants from her in the ground by the shovelful. So
wow.
by the shovelful, and
See?
so by the handful. I mean, that's
great.
that makes sense to me.
Yep, and even with our plants, I sell a lot of them in the form of plugs. So you can buy one tomato plant, one
versus-
pepper
well,
plant,
versus a
one
whole pack.
eggplant. You can mix and match
Yep.
however you want. So
50
each
cents.
Yes, each plug is 50
Wow.
cents.
I was out and bought plugs.
You know,
love
that
it.
is a great idea, because I did buy a bunch of broccoli and Brussels sprouts, and they came in these giant packs, and I only have room for a few. And so I ended up having to give them to somebody else because it's like, well, what am I going to do with it? Either that or they go to waste. So very great idea.
Yeah, you know, for the people that are doing the square foot gardening,
Yes.
that is ideal
There you go,
to
Karen.
mix up.
Yeah.
You can just take the packs and go, I have this many square feet and one
This,
plant.
this, and this. Yeah,
Yes.
wonderful.
So Terry she takes the plugs, she puts them in a pack for you, so you've got a way of bringing them
Sure,
home. Then
nice.
And we do have some customers that have been longtime customers that do help themselves. And I will say that sometimes it gets really busy, you know, with customers, and the experienced customers will help the new people coming in.
very nice.
You know, and we are very much about helping each other and community. And
But you're not
it's-
one of those what do they call the
the
cooperative farm, or
yeah,
when you
wh-
buy
where
like
you
a
buy a
share,
share for
You're-
the
So
month?
it's different
No.
than that, because
Yeah.
people have heard about that, where you buy like a share and then you go and
Yes.
and they give you like a bunch of vegetables or whatever, and
Yep, you get a box a week.
Yeah,
No,
this is-
I don't do that. This way
Oh.
you get a choice as to what you want. It has been suggested to me that I should do this at a CSA, and I am refusing to do that, because if I were to have a crop failure, I really just don't want all those people mad at me.
Right.
Because you take money ahead of time, and even though they sign, you know,
Yeah.
they sign a contract that
Right.
says that if you have a crop failure,
That's
that's their failure too. And I just don't want that many people mad at me
So-
if something don't go right.
So are you more like a per visit if you say, well, I need a bunch of herbs, so I want to come out, or is it a matter of you set up a schedule with people to volunteer? I'm just trying to figure out, does it vary by person? You sound very flexible.
Actually, I am, and just as any case, a lot of people they have unique situations.
Sure.
But basically, with volunteers, and there's only room for so many a year.
Okay.
And right now I am full.
Gotcha.
I
Okay,
don't have room.
that's good to know.
I don't have any room for any more volunteers, but I require the very minimum of 2 hours a week.
Okay.
Volunteering time. Most people are out there much more than that. I mean, even just the time of 2 hours just disappears.
Right.
You're so busy, it just.
You hardly get started.
Yeah,
That's the way
it-
gardens are. Yeah.
Even for me, it's like my day. It's morning, and all of a sudden it's nighttime. The
Right,
time just
right.
disappears
Well,
on me.
speaking of time, I hate to say we are out of time for our segment because you have shared so many great things. We've been talking with Terry Anderson of Valley Veggies in rural Lake Crystal. She said you go past Minneopa Park on Highway 68. Is there signage or something that people would be able to see?
Greenhouses. You can see the
Yeah,
greenhouses.
we're visible right from the road.
right.
From 68.
Yes.
Oh yes, we're
Okay.
just off the road.
Okay.
Yes.
And you can go to ValleyVeggiesMN.com or the number. I don't know if did you actually give the phone number
Oh
yet?
no, I did.
I think we've been talking. We haven't. given-
The home phone number is 507 947 3343, and you will get an answering machine because we are outside most of the
Leave
time.
a message.
Yes, please leave a
So
message.
507-947-3343 or ValleyVeggiesMN.com.
Yeah, and on the website we list what we have available.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Very
so you
nice.
can go there and check it.
And you're selling veggies right now, and like you said, you sell the companion
We're selling plants.
or plant. I mean, I'm
Yes.
sorry, the plants. I meant the vegetable and the companion plants
Yes.
to, like you said, have a balance so you can control insects and other things.
Yes,
And you know something we should say is you're going to get all 19, 20, 30 years of experience, of
Wow.
Terry's experiences. And if you're a new gardener, this is where you want to go.
What a great
We
thing.
can just
Yep.
get one
Anybody
or two of
has
this.
questions, I'm willing to take the time to talk to them and give them
Well, I can
ideas on
tell
how to
you're-
help themselves.
You're great to visit with. I can imagine it'd just be so fun to be out there just to chat with you. Jeez.
Yes, and be
Yeah.
part of that. Get that whole
Right.
family.
Well,
yeah.
Terry,
Oh,
I'm
yes.
delighted you have taken the time out of your garden to
Well,
come
thank
with
you.
us.
This has been fun.
Yeah, Terry Anderson of Valley Veggies, rural Lake Crystal, that again, past Minneopa Park on Highway 68. Look for the greenhouses. Otherwise, go to ValleyVeggiesMN.com. I want to thank you so much. It's great. And thanks, Barb, for bringing her in today.
Well, absolutely. And Terry, we want to invite you to come back again after your vegetables
Yes.
start growing, and you can tell us
Oh, I'd love to.
what's being picked and
What are
what's
the
for
problems
sale.
out
And
there?
yeah,
and
yeah.
what do we-
Well,
Yeah.
So-
my first passion is plants and planting, and my second is talking. So
There you go. We have a lot in common.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
thank you.
All right, it is 10:04. You're listening to your local independent public radio station, The Maverick, on KMSU 89.7 FM in Mankato and KMSK 91.3 FM in Austin, online at kmsu.org. Broadcasting from the campus of Minnesota State University, Mankato, big ideas and real world thinking.